Our highlights. Ogun State government begins enforcement of use of face mask to curb spread of second wave of COVID-19. President Muhammadu Buhari, state governors ready price of petrol. Insurance sector's assets hit 1.82 trillion naira on recapitalization deadline. Italian ambassador to Democratic Republic of Congo killed in UN convoy attack. Peace, it's at our fingertips if we allow it to be.
On Sport News tonight, Enyimba get tough draw in CAF Confederation Cup. This and more sporting stories much later on the news. My name is Moses Ojerume. Stay with us.
We'll begin with COVID-19. Ogun State government has begun the enforcement of use of face mask by both civil and public servants at the state secretariat in Abeokuta. It was not business as usual, as those who were not with nose mask were apprehended. Bumi Adigun was at the governor's office, Okemoso, Abeokuta, to capture the moment and report that those apprehended were made to carry out hours of community service. His report.
The Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, in its latest update recorded 521 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the total number of infections in the country to 152,074. Out of this latest figure, Ogun State has 52. And to avoid this daily count increasing, Ogun State government has embarked on enforcement of use of nose mask, starting with civil and public servants. Before 7 in the morning, the special COVID-19 task force was on guard to ensure everyone is protected, but as usual, many did not use nose mask. Some used it halfway, while some were even confrontational with the task force. Head of service in Ogun State, Elijah Selma Ototu, was also on the ground.
We are trying to enforce the compliance to COVID-19 because we realize that most of the people are not using the face masks and they are not compliant. And we intend to reduce this pandemic in our states. We don't want our people to die, and we want to encourage them that it's safer if they put on the face mask. And we say charity begins at home. That's why we are starting from the public service, so that we ensure that all our civil servants are safe and we are COVID compliant.
Apart from the use of nose mask, cars were not allowed to have more than 2 people at the back and 1 in the front. But unfortunately, as many of them passed the task force, they removed the nose mask. For those apprehended, a mobile court was stationed to prosecute them and sentenced to 2 hours community service. As the enforcement was ongoing, a lady was making a brisk business selling nose masks. The task force will be visiting markets, schools, and every other place in Abeokuta to ensure all COVID-19 protocols have been observed. It is now an offense in Ogun State to walk or walk within its corridors without using a nose mask. Ogtv News.
And to education, quality education, which is one of the mandates of the present administration in Ogun State, will continue to be given necessary and adequate attention. Stakeholders in the state education sector reaffirmed this while visiting community primary school Ilupeju Ojaodo in Yewa North local government area, following the recent reports by media on the deplorable learning condition of the school. Elizabeth Eso reports.
The foundation of a block of free classrooms has been laid in Community Primary School Ilupeju, Ojaodun. This followed the directive of Governor Dapo Abiodun to provide adequate learning infrastructure in the school. Pigeon went viral on the deplorable learning condition of pupils of the Community Primary School Ilupeju, Ojaodun, who since 2015 have been learning under a bamboo shed. Following this unfavorable situation, Governor Dapo Abiodun mandated stakeholders in the state's education sector to address the situation accordingly and quickly too. Chairman, Ogun State Universal Basic Education, Dr. Femi Majekodumi, confirmed the stand of the state government concerning the school and other schools that fall in this category across the state.
Greatly. Can you imagine? 900 projects at a go. It shows the extent of terrible situation with our educational institutions before this very government. You know, you can't have it better anywhere in this country. 900 projects for the government to come in. You know, it's a reflection of how bad the situation was, and that's what it's doing. And the fire brigade approach we deliberately put in is to assure the community.
Special advisor to the governor on primary and secondary education, Mrs. Ronke Shoyombo, confirmed numbers of schools earmarked by the state governments of the state.
Government, we have met quite a lot of schools in that condition. Earmarked every school in different stages. So quite a lot of schools that were yet to touch will be coming under the second group. So under the second intervention. So people can only be very much at peace with us.
On his part, Kubabu has this to say on the media reports.
What happened, everybody can see that it is not the fault of this administration. But notwithstanding, we have taken the bull by the horn, and I want to assure all and sundry that this administration meant what it actually said by declaring emergency in the education sector. It's going to be total rejuvenation, total revitalization of the education sector. I want to assure all those who have viewed that never again will they have such things. I mean, even if we have such that has been in place, as we are addressing it, within the next few months, they will see that we will not have that type of situation at all.
Some of the schools' state government intervention projects were visited, as well as those that will be included in the next batch to be attended to. Elizabeth Esson, Ogtv News.
Ogun State government says it has increased the payment of monthly allocations from 17 million naira to 39 million naira, as well as tightened security around schools so as to enhance its smooth running and tackle security challenges. The Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, who dropped this hint in Remo, submitted that the school development is to ensure that there was no hindrance for any student willing to go to school. Professor Arigbabu, while explaining that the ministry, due to the directive of the governor, has been working with principals to ensure that adequate security is provided in schools, added that government will not wait until
the administration, because of its belief in free education, so as to give access to all students, irrespective of their background, irrespective of their socio-economic background. The free education policy.
Continuous assessment enables educational examination.
Standard define the knowledge and skills students should possess at critical point in their career. Standards serve as a basis of educational reform across the nation, as educators declare that continuous assessment encourages students to learn and be prepared for the challenges ahead.
It, helps the teacher to evaluate his learning. All right, without continuous assessment, how will you know if you have taught? So it remains an instrument the teacher uses to evaluate his teaching. Then it helps the teacher, if you have not achieved your lesson, you prepare. Is it the methodology that is wrong? Is it the approach that is wrong? Is it the instructional material that is wrong? You assess your learning as a whole.
The essence of the continuous assessment is to boost the student performance. The students are already aware of that. They know the essence of it, so they know that they have to prepare well for it, as if they are preparing for their exams.
According to them, continuous assessment has an impact on the both student end results and their methodologies of learning, adding that serious attention should be directed towards the tools that are used to assess the students.
Anyway, continuous assessment is just one of the numerous instruments that can be used to determine the learner's performance. But actually, tests cannot always be the true test of ability. But I want to tell you that it plays a prominent role in determining the actual feat that a learner has achieved.
It's also an instrument administrators use, school administrators. They use continuous assessment to plan, all right, for the learner. Then the policy makers, if for instance federal government introduce a program and they want to ascertain if the program is effective, the only viable instrument they use is continuous assessment. So it helps the teacher, it helps the learner, it helps the administrator, and helps the policy maker. So it's of great importance to the school system and to education as a whole.
It can also have effect on the final result of the students, as the overall speaks volume.
Make students even revise more about what they've been taught, help us to know how we are prepared for our upcoming examination. Whenever we want to do our examination, the mark that we got in our CA test can help us, it boosts our mark.
After the continuous assessment, the result is out, the student is able to know if he or she has done well, and that will make the student to reload, quote and unquote, and to make a kind of adjustment, especially in subjects where he or she thinks he has not been doing well. And as a result of that, at the end of the term, the student becomes a very wonderful student. They concluded that in evaluation of pupils' progress in the course of their studies, continuous assessment can also be used to decide whether or not students have conveyed the syllabus.
Away from education, towards sustaining mutual relationship between their institutions, the management of Ogun State Television has visited the State Hospital Ijayi Abeokuta. The team was led by the General Manager, Mr. Festus Kende. Bumi Adigun reports.
Ogun State Hospital, located at Ijayi in Abeokuta, is one of the oldest hospitals in the state that has been rendering humanitarian services to the people through quality health service. In order to foster synergy between them, the management team of the Ogun State Television, led by Mr. Festus Kende, visited the State Hospital Ijayi Abeokuta to see what they can both enjoy from a new relationship.
We look at the State Hospital and we believe we have not been able to have your own share of the publicity that you deserve. I know you might have been apprehensive of coming because of our rate, but we thought that Ogtv should also be socially responsible. And to be socially responsible means we should be able to meet the need of this state hospital when it comes to publicity.
Apart from sustaining a relationship and moving it higher, the two organizations promised to assist each other in the area of needs.
Oftentimes, Ogtv will require the service of some of these consultants to educate and enlighten our populace. I think the best treatment we can give to any disease is to prevent it. From a layman point of view, we believe prevention is better than cure. And how do you prevent? Through education, through enlightenment.
The medical director of Ogun State Hospital appreciated the initiative of the management of the Ogun State Television.
I can tell you the Ogun State government in the past 2 or 3 months have employed about 5 consultants for us. And that is really great. And I know the government is ongoing. So I can assure you things are getting better. And it will continue to get better. And we need to collaborate with an agency like yours for the people to really know that things have changed.
This is one of the many visits of the state television management to different organizations seeking further relationship, which will in turn reflect in the content of the station and also improve its internally generated revenue. Ogtv News.
In order to reduce the incidence of automobile road crashes to the barest minimum, improve driving and active maintenance culture for drivers, the management of Ogun State Television is taking no chance and has therefore organized a two-day workshop for its drivers. Declaring the workshop open, the General Manager of Ogun State Television, Mr. Festus Kendi, stressed the need for participants to be conscious while driving. The workshop was in conjunction with Lizzie Onyelola Consults. Olajumoke Oladipupo has the details.
In any corporate organization, the drivers have a vital role in the overall goal. This is because this set of workers handle an aspect of the value chain that involves protection of lives, while at the same time ensure proper maintenance of operational vehicles. Against the backdrop, the management of Ogun State Television has taken the bull by the horns to give its drivers the basic rudiment of avoiding road crashes while on duty.
But because of the crucial importance of the drivers to our organization, we need to keep reminding them to know the basic technique of defensive driving. However big it might be, your driver, apart from God, your driver holds the key to your life on the road. So on behalf of the three management, I want to declare this refresher training open to the glory of God and to the safety of the road.
The managing consultant, Lizzie Onyelola Consult, Mr. Rotimi Akinyele, listed areas to be touched during the workshop and its impact on participants.
The need to reduce the incidence of automobile road crashes to the barest minimum and to improve the driving culture and act of maintenance culture for our drivers, also taking care of security consciousness and defensive driving has become a fatal issue all over the world.
To the participant, this could not have come at a better time.
I would commend this initiative. You know, the command, the FRSC Ogun State Command, has observed that crashes are on the rise in Ogun State, alarmingly. So we welcome this development to train these drivers.
We drivers, we are alive to all staff, because you know that we always travel day and night. So I will need this type of workshop and to enlighten us what to do.
The two-day workshop will feature lectures, group discussions, and practical demonstrations. Olajumoke Oladipupo, Ogtv News.
Still to come, President Muhammadu Buhari governs to meet over increase in pump price of petrol. More news and reports after this break. The tripartite meeting between the federal government and the organized labor has resolved that appropriate price leading to reduction in the prices of gas by companies supplying gas to generating and distribution companies be effected for downward review in electricity tariff. This was when both parties adopted the report of the Technical Committee on Electricity Tariff.
For now, the gas pricing to the generating companies is actually at $2.80. And We have proposed that it should be reduced to $1.50. That will actually affect also the downward review of the electricity tariff. We have also looked at the inefficiency in the system, especially metering, which had become a major problem. But fundamentally, we have also said that the entire privatization process is due for review.
We adopted the report of the Electricity Committee, made some adjustments, and transformed that technical committee into an implementation committee. They are now a standing committee to implement all the recommendations they gave to us here. You know, some paperwork has to be done, and once that is done, the price of ampere of electricity will go down, and once it goes down, consumers will benefit.
Labour has proposed a local refinery template used by most OPEC countries, where production cost pricing method used before 1998 for fixing the prices of petrol was adopted.
Import pricing method, which I think is only Nigeria out of the OPEC countries that have been using that method. That entails that 100% of what we consume will be imported. That is, you sell your crude oil, then you import finished product. That to us is not sustainable. It's exporting our jobs, and our first priority is to see how the refineries can be fixed.
Like I said, work in progress. The governors are going to discuss this on Thursday. They have discussed this at the National Economic Council, and so everybody is involved because we find ourselves in dire straits. No money for subsidy.
Progress on the new resolutions adopted are expected to be reported in April by the Committee on Electricity and Premium Motor Spirit. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari and the state governors will discuss the issue of fuel pricing on Thursday. Minister of Labour and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, disclosed this after a tripartite meeting of the federal government and organized labour at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Briefing journalists on their resolutions, Ngige said the Labour had investigated the report of the Technical Committee on Premium Motor Spirit Pricing Framework as agreed at the last meeting and made their submissions alongside the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. Ngige maintained that the federal government has concluded discussions with the organized labour on the fuel pricing. On electricity tariff, the minister disclosed that the meeting adopted the report of its ad hoc technical committee on electricity tariffs, made some adjustments and transformed the committee into an implementation committee to implement all the recommendations made, including mass metering. He said the committee also recommended that those forcefully migrated by distribution companies from lower paying bands C and D to upper bands A and B should petition the National Electricity Regulatory Commission. Ngige, however, announced that the social dialogue between the federal government and organized labour has been adjourned till April as the two standing committees are still working. The Secretary to the federal government, Boss Mustafa, congratulated the organized labour for the sacrifices at this time of economic difficulty, which has been rewarded with Nigeria's exit from recession in the third quarter of 2020. The president of NLC, Comrade Ayuba Waba, and his TUC counterpart, Quadri Olaleye, led the organized labour. Mixed reactions of firm price of premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, by filling stations in Nigeria, while marketers of the product say the demand and supply dynamics have been affecting the price. Other Nigerians are lamenting the economic hardship this has caused them and what a possible future price hike will cost the economy. Adebola Oshomoji went round Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital.
Of federal government revenue comes from crude oil, with money from this sector helping government address its growing budget deficit. However, the challenges posed to the economy by this sector still remain overwhelming. Though Nigerians have been adapting to these challenges, they often blame the federal government for this.
And what we have to import at international market price, coupled with the fact that it has to be masked against a dwindling naira that is losing value. Definitely we should expect a hike.
That price is not convenient for our people is too much. Even now, to buy anything, whether food or anything, is too high.
So it's not convenient for us. So we need to plead to them that should help us to reduce this price. We beg them.
When we import refined product, we are exporting jobs. Because if you have refinery, and you in a full-fledged refinery, you can have 30,000 people working there. Different product, byproduct from refinery. So, but we are not doing this. So we are exporting jobs, and that is why our youth are unemployed.
Despite claiming otherwise, the federal government's position on subsidy removal and its stronghold on price control in the downstream sector are said to be creating more problems for marketers who deal with petroleum products investment.
That is why we have this situation we are having. But when your supplier increase the price, depending on whatever reasons they are giving, to us, they have not given tangible reason. Aside from the fact that they are expecting NNPC to announce an increment.
We are supposed to reap some benefits. They keep promising us that we will reap the benefits of all these deregulation and the rest, but we are yet to see the effect. That is, we are yet to see the positive effect, because we are seeing the other side effect, that is hiking price, hardship on the people.
Already, filling stations across the state have started upward adjustment of pump price, despite the fact that the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has insisted that it has no plan to increase the pump price.
You cannot hold one wing and expect the bird to fly with just the other one. It's just not possible. It's not natural. So it's not in the best interest of the marketers for the prices of petroleum products to go up. Whenever it happens, it affects us negatively.
In Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, most filling stations are now selling the product for as high as 175 naira per litre, although the last official price was put at 162 naira per litre. If this development lasts longer than expected across the nation, there are possibilities of a more serious reaction by consumers who would have been forced to again bear the consequences in socio-economic terms. Adebola Oshomuji, Ogtv News.
The number of medical and dental practitioners in Nigeria has increased with the induction of 63 recently qualified students of Babcock University, Ileshan Remo, Ogun State, into the council. At the 5th induction ceremony, the Vice-Chancellor of the institution, Professor Ademola Tayo, tasked the inductees to work assiduously in protecting the profession's ethical conduct. Yusuf Ganu reports.
Having found them worthy in both learning and character, these 63 qualified medical students of Babcock University, Ileshan Remo, Ogun State, are now presented to the Medical and Dental Council for proper induction and then unleash them into the medical practice. That is the 5th set of qualified medical students from the Carson Senior College of Health and Medical Science, Babcock University, being inducted by the Registrar, Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, Dr. Tajuddin Shanusi, to practice the profession with conscience and dignity, especially service to humanity.
The economy is marching harder in this country. We do respect to our lawyers. You see, don't think they are your friends. The day you are in trouble, you go and meet them. You will save money how to do this. You are jobless. You cover 500,000 naira debt. That does not mean that you let up the hook. And people are looking for means of survival. And it's like
affiliation or any other factor affects the autonomy, better improvement in their profession.
It is the oath that defines your professional career. It requires you to put the needs of the patients and of the public over your own. It is also the oath of responsibility to your professional or specialized body of knowledge that you will master, improve upon, and pass to the next generation.
The inductees and their parents were extremely excited as they appreciated God for making the day a reality.
Today is monumental because I believe every member of the graduating medical doctor has been prepared for such a time as this.
We have seen over the years stability of academic calendar, no disruption over the years. We are seeing quality of teaching delivery.
According to the management, the institution will continue to strive more to improve on facilities and provide enabling environment for training of medical students. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
And the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Alhaji Sabo Nanono, said it has become imperative for Nigeria to establish its own jute bag industries to meet international best practices for the export of cocoa and sundry agricultural produce. The minister said the production of the bags in Nigeria will increase foreign earnings, healthy preservation and certification of cocoa crop. Nanono said that the ministry will seek collaboration with the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning in ensuring that appropriate policy measures and counterpart funding were put in place to fast-track the setting up of factories across the nation and also commence the cultivation of kanaf, which can grow in any part of the country and happens to be the raw material for the production of jute bags. The minister, who made this known in Abuja, assured that the ministry will continue to support and collaborate with the association to boost the cocoa value chain subsector towards increasing production, creating more jobs, and generating revenue for the country. Office. In her remarks, the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, said she is afraid the Minister of Finance, Zainab, component of the 2020 budget has reached 30% implementation. The National Agency for the Control of AIDS says 1.3 million out of 1.9 million Nigerians living with HIV are now on treatment. This is according to a report published by NACA in commemoration of its 14th anniversary. The report states that when the agency was established in 2007, only 124,567 Nigerians were on treatment. The new figure represents an increase of 987%. The report further reveals that between July 2019 and December 2020, the number of persons in treatment rose from over 1 million to 1,354,314, representing an increase of 410,169 in just 17 months. The country director, United Rasus Morak, said Nigeria was on the path to meeting the 1990 target set by the UN. The 1990 initiative seeks to ensure that 90% of all people living with HIV will know their HIV status. 90% of all people diagnosed with HIV infection will receive sustained antiretroviral therapy, and 90% of all people receiving antiretroviral therapy will have viral suppression. He advised the agency not to be complacent, but to ensure that the tempo is sustained. The Imo State Police Command has arraigned 14 persons, including a senior legislative aide to Senator Rocha Zokorocha, Steve Asimobi, in a magistrate court in Owerri. They are said to have participated in the forceful invasion of the Royal Spring Palm Hotel, which was sold by the state government. Spokesman to the State Command, Orlando Ikeoku, who confirmed the arraignment, also stated that Senator Rocha Zokorocha, who was in police custody for questioning based on the complaints lodged by the state government over the matter, was released on Sunday. Giving further details regarding the 14 being arraigned, Ikeoku said the suspects were facing a 6-count charge bordering on conspiracy, disobedience to lawful order, willing and unlawful destruction of the official seal of Imo State government, conduct capable of causing a breach of peace. Others are unlawful possession of firearms and a defamatory action on social media against the governor of Imo State, with the intent to injure the reputation of the state government and person of Governor Hope Uzodimma. Meanwhile, the Imo State Police Command has said it will not hesitate to charge Senator Rochas Okorocha to court if investigations revealed that he committed an offense while trying to unseal the Royal Spring Palm Estate, which is reportedly linked to his wife. The Nigerian Air Force says it recognizes aircraft which crashed, killing 7 NAV crew aboard, was an accident caused by engine failure. News of the crash first came on social media, with the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, tweeted about it, saying the incident was still under investigation by the Nigerian military. Shortly after, the Nigerian Air Force confirmed the incident in a tweet, saying all 7 personnel, 3 officers and 4 airmen did not survive the crash, which occurred shortly after the pilot reported engine failure. The BN-350 NAV aircraft, which crashed, NAV 201, was en route on ISR mission, an intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance mission, before the crash occurred. It played key roles in ISR missions leading to the destruction of Boko Haram and bandit camps, as well as providing valuable information in rescue operations. In 2018, a Nigerian Air Force aerial displayed rehearsal for the October 1st Independence celebrations turned tragic in September 2018 when 2 NF-7 fighter jet collided mid-air, resulting in a crash on Katabe Hills along the Kubwa Expressway, Abuja, leading to the death of 1 pilot, while others sustained injuries.